Hi everyone, welcome to Baking with Kauna. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to make the perfect puff puff. We are going to be measuring our ingredients from the beginning and to frying. We're going to see all the process here. Baking, while baking is very important, you take note of your measurement. Some people they bake and they say they use eye gauge, but I hold measuring to high esteem. So I'm going to be teaching you how to measure your ingredients. This is for a very small amount we're going to be making today. If you would like to make a larger amount, all you have to do is to multiply this recipe. So now it's about to start. I'm going to be using this. This is 3 cups of flour. I've already put in 2 cups of flour inside the bowl. This is 1 cup of flour. See how you're supposed to measure your flour. This is a cup, 1 cup. You see it. Get a measuring cup, 1 cup. Then you fill this 1 cup to the tip and level it out. So this is your 1 cup of flour. So we already have 2 cups inside, plus this will make it 3. So 3 cups of flour. For the 3 cups of flour, that's it. We're going to be using sugar, half cup of sugar. Then this is another sugar for the yeast. To activate our yeast, we're going to be using yeast, 1/4 teaspoon of yeast. Teaspoon is different from tablespoon, so you have to be careful when you are measuring your yeast. Then you have water. You have both hot and cold water because I'm going to make the water warm. You need warm water. So now for the first thing I would like us to do is to make our yeast, activate our yeast while we put our dry ingredients together. So now the first thing is to measure in 1/4 teaspoon of yeast. Now this is 1 teaspoon. I like using this brand of yeast. And when getting yeast, I would not advise you to get all those yeast they tie in nylon. Most of them have lost their strength. So it's better to get a new one, or maybe you have used one at home. Make sure after that you seal it up very well. So we're going to measure these 2. One. This is 2. Then this is 1/4 teaspoon. So you take it 1/4 teaspoon. That's it. So we are going to be measuring our warm water now. This hot water here, and we have cold water here. So the measurement for the water is 1.5 cup of water. So we're going to begin 1 cup here. Here your cup. Pour it in. Then 1/2 cup of the warm water. So it's 1 to touch. So we'll pour this into the yeast we measured now and mix very well. Mix. And this is sugar for activating the yeast, because yeast feeds on sugar. So put that in. I'm going to mix it now. After mixing, this part is very important. We are going to allow it, we cover it and allow it to rise for about 10 to 15 minutes. So after which we pour it into our dry mixture and make our puff puff. So we're going to be covering till about 10 to 15 minutes, after which we mix with our dry mixture. Now here we are going to put our dry ingredients together. It's a bowl. This is the bowl I'm going to be using. You have to use a bowl that can be covered. So 3 cups of flour. Filter it. Make sure you filter your flour to aerate the flour and to prevent dirt in flour. You can see now. See what I filtered out of my flour. Then you pour in sugar. pour in the salt. Then make sure your hands are properly clean. I like using my hand. You can use spatula, but I wash my hand and use my hand. So you mix this together. Make sure you mix it very, very well. Now is at this point, if you would like to add pepper, like to add onions, to spicing up your puff, you put it at this point. You use hand grater, you grate your pepper, you grate your onions to the amount you like, and you pour it into the flour and mix. After which we're going to wait for our yeast mixture to rise and we pour into it. Okay, so after 10 to 15 minutes, you notice that our yeast mixture has, it's foaming on top. So we're ready to mix. For this process, you can use spatula, you can use your hand, but I'm going to be using my hand. My hand has been washed and is clean. So you make your well inside. Make your well. Then pour in the mixture. And you mix. Just mixing it very well to come together. So you see how our mixture is like. Make sure this is perfectly mixed well. So now we're done mixing our puff puff. Now we're going to cover this up and keep it in one place for about 40 minutes to 60 minutes for it to swell and multiply in size. And there's something about allowing your mixture to rise. If you are not careful, if you allow it over rise, because the yeast feeds on the sugar, the yeast is going to finish the sugar in your puff puff and your puff puff will be tasteless. So once it's that, you make sure you are very, very conscious of your time and make sure you check your puff puff by that time, and then it will be ready to fry. So let's cover this up and keep in a warm place for it to rise. Okay, so after 1 hour, you can notice that the puff puff mix has doubled in size. See how plenty it is. It's doubled in size, and now it's time to fry. So now for frying, we are going to get a pot. I'm using a small pot because I want it to be deep frying. If you have enough oil, you can put it in a bigger pot and you'll be able to fry. So you put enough oil. We're going to be using deep frying. Now there's some kind of pots that when it's not as if your puff puff is having problem, it's the pot that it makes your puff puff come under, mostly iron pot. So if you have a non-stick pot or a steel pot, it's going to be good for this process. So you allow your oil get hot, and there are different ways to know if your oil is hot enough. Some persons can stick their hand inside and make it to check, but that's not advisable. You can put in a little puff mix to see if it's going to start simmering and pop up, or you can put a pinch of flour. If it bubbles, then you know your oil is hot enough. I'm going to be showing you an example as we do this. So now we're going to be seeing, now this is flour. I'll take a pinch, I'll put inside. You can see how it's like that, and hey, the oil is hot enough. So we're going to get a bowl of water to make our lubricate our hands while we cut our puff mix. Now there are different ways to cut this puff mix. Okay, so you can can see how it looks like. There are different ways to cut it. Is to cut your puff. Either use this like this or you use like this. Any way you're comfortable with. Now for this one, you take it like this and you cut it into one like that. Can you see the process? Like that. Then you can see that the oil is hot and your puff puff is coming up immediately. So okay, this one is good for small chops. You're able to cut it small. This mix can make about 50 pieces using this method. You can see how the puff puff is popping up. Immediately we'll put it inside. So you cut it with your hand. This way. Let's finish this way. The next time we're going to use the second way. If your hand is becoming too dry, you lubricate it with water. You can see. Then you turn your puff like this. Is it so that you'll be able to turn it round, and every side will fry well. If your oil is too hot, you notice that your oil is too hot, you reduce the gas, or reduce your fire. Fried already, you remove them. So this small size is very good for small chops. This mixture can make you about 50 pieces of this small size.
It's very hot, is it?
So once it's golden brown enough, you pack it out of the oil. So now we're going to be doing the second method. Now this second method, I think I prefer the second method. So this is it in your hand, then you pack it and you go like this. You pack it through your hand. It's on your hand like this. Not everybody can do this, but if you can, the best. This ones, your hand gets easily dried, so you're going to keep lubricating your hand. You have to be fast. Put in spaces that needs to be put. So, see. Pack it in your hand, something like this. Then once you've gotten the size you want, you cut it off with your hand. So that's how that is fried. Okay, I like this one. It makes my work very neat, but some persons prefer the other method, but this is my go-to method. You don't put too much so that your the puff puff will not be clustered together. You just put just enough. Once you know that your oil is getting full, you give space. You stop putting in and allow the ones on the fire to fry first. Okay, so let's allow this fry. And see how beautiful this looks. It's getting fried golden brown. So now you can see our puff puff, beautiful golden brown and ready to be packed. Just take a look how beautiful it looks like. Yummy, like very, very yummy, and it's amazing, like all round and fine it is. So you can see your puff puff. It's beautiful, perfectly round, perfect for your small chops. And just let's take a look at the inside. See how meaty it is. Actually, this is very, very hot. Meaty it looks, and very delicious. This will be perfect for any occasion. So you replicate this and let me see your handwork, let me see your practicals. Thank you.